If you're a member of Congress, voted to continue the full and immediate implementation of Obama health care plan, would that make you more or less likely to vote to re-elect him or her to Congress? Look at the less likely number. Look at the much less likely number. Over 40% are much less likely to vote for him. Okay? These are the numbers. And then the last one. Again, this is the question on whether or not you would vote to re-elect them if they did everything they could to stop it. You know, the numbers speak for themselves. This is polling. This is 1,000 folks. It's very statistically significant information. And yet, they're telling us that they're terrified because there was such a massive backlash against slowing down the government temporarily. This is all polling data, but we can also look at history. Because I actually had somebody tell me this, somebody that was trying to defend what the Republican leadership has been doing. And they said, well, you know, look back to '96. Look at what happened to the House leadership in '96 and all that in the election of '96. Okay, well, just by way of recollection, in the '95 to '96 time frame, you may remember that Newt Gingrich as Speaker and Bill Clinton as President were back and forth fighting over cutting spending and balancing the budget, and it led to an extended suspension of non-essential services, or what they call a shutdown. That took place in late '95 and early '96, like in the December-January time frame. Now, we obviously had the election in '94 that led to the takeover by the Republicans. Now look at the number of the next election in 1996. Can you show me where the bloodbath was? Can you show me where the wipeout happened? It didn't happen. Okay, in the next election, the Democrats took 2 more seats than they had before the election. And that was in a year when we had Bob Dole at the top of the ticket against Bill Clinton.
Oh boy.
So, you know, do the math. Now there was a wipeout, there was a bloodbath, and it took place in 2006. But I can promise you, if you recall, it did not happen because the Republicans fought too hard. I was walking precincts in 2006 in Dallas County, and I was coming back and reporting that we're in for a real hard time on election day in the Republican Party, because I was getting Republican doors. I mean, now you look at your walk list; it tells you who are the Republicans. I was getting Republican doors slammed on my face. People told me I was a fool to walk for those guys, and why was I wasting my time? And I heard that over and over again. So I knew going into that we were in for a hard time on election day. And the reality was it had nothing to do with them fighting too hard. It had to do with them not fighting at all against overrun spending. One more point here. If you look at '96, remember I told you that the shutdown, the slowdown was right at the end of '95 and the beginning of '96. You'll see there. Look at the president's approval, Clinton's approval when there was a shutdown. That tells you they felt the pressure of it just as much or more than the House members did. There will be a backlash against Obama. If there's a backlash, it'll be against Obama. And there might be some backlash against the Republicans too. But sometimes there's risk in life. Sometimes doing the right thing carries a little bit of risk. But the point I'm trying to make here is, to the extent there's risk, it's certainly not anything clear, and it's certainly not anything that's compelling one way or the other. Or it's not compelling that there would be a backlash and it would cost them seats. Again, my position is, even if there was, they should throw some and do it. But pardon my French. But one thing, there is another countervailing argument to this claim that they're going to lose seats. Let's look at the election of 2014. If the Republicans have handed us amnesty, they've handed us one debt limit increase after another, they've handed us a continuing funding of Obamacare, they've given us no investigation of IRS, Benghazi, any of the incredible scandals of this Obama administration. They've continued to roll over for the Obama administration. There is a very real risk in that case that the Republican-based voters say, what's the point of voting for you? Right? So there is a very strong and real risk that if they don't stand up and start fighting, that the base will stay home, and that will happen as we saw in 2006. That will kill them off at the polls. So that's my presentation on this, and I appreciate your time. I guess we're going to take some questions, or we have time for that? Yeah, we can take some questions if you guys like.